The 2026 World Cup qualifier campaign is back, and it's time for us as Reggae Boys fans to rally our troops and believe in a Steve.
Jamaica have a lifeline! How about this?
Big up Gunnaz, I hear that. Don't know some of the Gunnaz myself, but big up Gunnaz.
Hello and welcome back to the Gunnaz podcast. I'm your host, Dicanio, an Arsenal fan who covers everything Reggae Boys and local football. If you enjoy the content that I do on this channel, remember to hit that like button. It's a very free way of supporting the channel and helping the channel grow. Every single video I do on this channel must get to 150 likes. So just go ahead and smash that like button right now. Also, another free way to support the channel and to join the community is by hitting that subscribe button. So just go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Now in this video, I will be reviewing the Reggae Boys squad to face off in the World Cup qualifiers against the British Virgin Islands and Guatemala. The British Virgin Islands, obviously, we're going to be playing them away from home, and then we will head back to the office at the National Stadium on June 10th to face Guatemala. I just want to, as I said, go through the squad, share my thoughts and opinions on the squad, and yeah, let's head right into it. We have Andre Blake, Shaquan Davis, and Jamali Waite as the goalkeepers. Obviously, we know Andre Blake is the number one, Jamali Waite is the number two. However, I think we need to find a new number three goalkeeper. Shaquan Davis had his chance and he did not impress at all. If for some reason Andre Blake and Jamali Waite are to get injured and we have to depend on a third string goalkeeper, no one is going to be confident in Shaquan Davis and his abilities. And it's not only with what we saw in the Unity Cup against tougher opponents than what he plays against in the Jamaica Premier League on a week-in, week-out basis. But it's also the fact that before he was selected for the Unity Cup team, he was benched throughout the entire playoffs by his coaching staff at Mount Pleasant. For whatever reason, we don't know. But the Mount Pleasant expect a lot and they want performances. So to see them bench him for the entire playoffs, that just goes to show the level that they think he is at right now. And if his club thinks that he's at the level of a second string goalkeeper, I don't want him to be Jamaica's third string goalkeeper. But at the end of the day, that is only if injuries are to become a very big issue. I'm quite confident in Andre Blake, and Jamali Waite is okay, right? So heading right over to the defenders, we have Richard King from Cavalier, Kyle Ming from Mount Pleasant, Dexter Lembikisa, formerly of Wolves. He went to Barnsley on loan last season. Amari Bell of Luton. He actually left Luton the other day. Greg Lay of Oxford United. Mason Holgate. I don't even know where Mason Holgate is playing now. One of them championship team there, but we're blue, to be honest. Joel Latibadier of Coventry. And Damian Lowe, he's playing over in Saudi. So we all know what the starting lineup, backline is going to be looking like. Dexter Lembikisa at right back, Amar Bell at left back. Damian Lowe will come back into his starting position. However, the key thing is that Ethan Pinnock is out. There's no Ethan Pinnock. We're not sure. Maybe he's on holiday. Not sure at all. Maybe he's injured. We are not sure. I did not really listen to that McClaren press conference as yet. I'm going to do a review based on what he said as well. But for whatever reason, Ethan Pinnock was not selected, right? So that simply means we're going to have to replace him. And we have options. We have Richard King, we have Mason Holgate, and Joel Latibadier, who can both, or three of them, can play at centre back. Share your thoughts below in the comment section and let me know who you think is going to partner Damian Lowe. And again, guys, this is not me saying I want Damian Lowe to start. I'm saying that I think he should start. But I think mature fans will come to accept that Damian Lowe is a starter in the team now. And it makes no sense to try and fight that. It's best to just support him throughout, right? So Damian Lowe, Dexter Lembikisa, and Amar Bell, share your thoughts below in the comment section and let me know who you want to partner Damian Lowe, Richard King, Mason Holgate, or Joel Latibadier. Now heading over into the midfield, which I think is becoming a more set midfield, a midfield that we can enjoy and we know what we're going to get. A balanced midfield as well, with Isaac Hayden, Casey Palmer, John Russell, Ravel Morrison, and Dwayne Busy Atkinson. I think I'm very intrigued at seeing Dwayne Busy Atkinson in the team. I'm glad that he was there and was not just judged for missing a penalty in a friendly competition. So yeah, I'm glad that he's there. Isaac Hayden is obviously the pivot. A shock though is that we have not brought in Isaac Hayden backup. I think that's very shocking. What happens if Isaac Hayden gets an injury, right? Wouldn't you want at least another Isaac Hayden type player in training for if you're playing one team against another team? That was a bit shocking to me. I don't like the idea of bringing 5 midfielders if we play 4-3-3. Just bring 6 midfielders. Bring 2 6 and 4 8s, or bring 2 6s, bring 2 8s, and bring 2 10s. If that's the way you want to look at it, right? If anything from to Isaac Hayden, I think he's saying maybe Joel Latibodier can step in if needed, and that's the reason why he didn't add that 6th midfielder. So I think that is the thinking behind this. If anything is happening with Isaac Hayden, we'll just use Joel Latibodier as a backup option instead of having to bring a backup option for Isaac Hayden and sacrificing another attacker. Which takes me over into the attack line. So we have Demarai Gray, 0 goals and 0 assists in the entire season this so far. Well, not so far. The season is basically done. Very, very poor season from Demarai Gray. Leon Bailey, another poor season as well. Both players out of form, not playing well, not impacting games, which is what we need in World Cup qualifier campaign. Ronaldo Cephas, who has been the opposite, a very good season. I think 14 goals and assists in 27 games in the 2nd division of the Turkey, right? Kahim Dixon, impressing. Warner Brown, wonderful season in the Jamaica Premier League and showed that he can do what is needed at a certain level of international football. Roman Burrell proved himself as well with a goal, good performances in the Unity Cup. And Romario Williams, former Phoenix man, or Phoenix never dies, so Phoenix man. And finally, Tyrese Campbell, who is Kahim Dixon's partner, right, or teammate at Charlton Athletic. He's one that we have covered a lot in the YouTube space, letting you guys know about his eligibility and the fact that he can play for us. And it's very good to see that he has decided to represent the country and to accept a call-up. He was posted by Charlton Athletic with Charlton's admin posting a DM, a screenshot of a DM that he sent to Tyrese Campbell, saying, "Congratulations on your first international call-up, TC. How are you feeling?" And Tyrese Campbell's response was, "It's an honor to receive this call-up. It was one of my targets that I set myself at the start of the season. So to achieve it, I'm happy and I can't wait to play." And people, this guy is a wicked piece of youth. Wicked piece of youth. He's young. I think he's just a year or two older than Kahim Dixon, around 20 or 21. Very young player. Got promoted with Charlton Athletic being a mainstay. So Kahim Dixon is performing okay and doing good for Jamaica. And he's in the academy of Charlton Athletic. Hasn't really been able to break into the team. And Tyrese Campbell is one of those main reasons because he has been tearing it up, right? Wonderful season and really cemented himself no longer as a youth player, but as a first-team regular in that Charlton Athletic setup. So it's going to be very interesting seeing Tyrese Campbell, someone who's very hungry, coming off of a very good season, and as well as Ronaldo Cephas and Kahim Dixon for those positions on the wing, right? As opposed to a Demarai Gray and a Leon Bailey. No, Steve McClaren was asked about that in his press conference. Big up yourself, Kishan from 433 Presser. I was not able to make that press conference, so I sent him the link and told him, hey, just go ahead, do your thing. And done it up the way we know it's supposed to be done. So he did ask Steve McClaren a question relating to how is he going to select this team, like the first 11, when you have informed players, right, who are kind of fringe players, substitute players, compared to players who normally start for Jamaica, like Demarai Gray and Leon Bailey, who are not informed, haven't been playing well, both for club or country for the latter part of a year, or the better part of a year, my bad. How are you going to make the right decision regarding that? And I think he has a very tricky decision. I think against the British Virgin Islands, he should make a statement. I think he plays the same team that he played in the Unity Cup. We show the level that we can play at, right? So continue with that team. And if you see improved levels in training, and if you add on a Leon Bailey and you see improved levels when he comes onto the pitch as a substitute, then you can give him a starting shot. But I think we should continue with what we saw in the Unity Cup. It's British Virgin Islands. Let's not flatter them. British Virgin Islands is not ready. So there's nothing to really worry about. It's not as if we're playing at Trinidad and you want to start your best possible team, which I think our best possible team is what played in the Unity Cup, right? It's time that we move past the name of these players and the history of these players and look at what is here and now. Leon Bailey and Demarai Gray have been piss poor for the better part of a year. That is just the truth. Nothing against them. I'm here that Leon Bailey is going to Saudi and I'm very happy for him. A youth from Cassava Peace. I'm not going to bash Leon Bailey for throwing away Europe and going to Saudi in what's supposed to be his prime. I'm not going to do that. Because we've seen South American players do that, we've seen European players do that. And if this brother here come from Cassava Peace, this is a wonderful opportunity for him to make that bread the realest piece away and set up his family for years upon years and generations after generations. So I have no problem with that decision that Leon Bailey is going to be making, right? However, on the football pitch, he and Demarai Gray have been piss poor. And this is British Virgin Islands we're talking about, people. You need to reward work and you need to let those players like Demarai Gray and Leon Bailey know that they don't just walk into this team. So I'm going to give you guys my starting 11. Andre Blake, Dexter Lembikisa, Amari Bell, Damian Lowe, and I think Mason Holgate is going to start, people. Don't bash me. Don't kill me. I don't want him to start, but I think he is going to start, right? So I think that partner is going to be Mason Holgate and Damian Lowe. Then into the midfield, we have Isaac Hayden, Casey Palmer, and John Russell. Not a huge fan of Casey Palmer and his performances. His performance was very poor against a strong Nigerian team, which again backs up the point that I've been making about when it's time to step up, he's not doing it. However, it is British Virgin Islands. And if they are any level like the level that we played against the Trinidad team, Casey Palmer will step up and he will show up against those minor teams. So I have no problem starting it. So it's Isaac Hayden, Casey Palmer, and Jonathan Russell. Wonderful balance. And then we have Atkinson and Ravel Morrison in case Morrison needs to come on to switch up the system, or in case Atkinson needs to come on to switch up the system as well, depending on what the game calls for, right? Now, my front three, very, very hard decision. It's going to be very difficult. But I think I'm going to work with Warner Brown, Raheem Dixon, and Ronaldo Cephas. The same lineup as the Unity Cup, excluding Roman Burrell. The reason why I just still think Roman Burrell needs to get in touch with Concacaf. I think we're just slowly easing in. England was his home territory. I think Warner Brown is more equipped to deal with the pitches. I'm not sure the type of pitch that British Virgin Island has, but if it's anything like the National Stadium, we know that players do take a while to get used to these pitches in Jamaica. Warner Brown is already used to that. So it just depends, to be honest, what the coach is seeing in training. I don't think any fan should be upset whether Warner Brown gets selected or Burrell gets selected. I'm just thinking that based off what we will see in training back at CONCACAF, Warner Brown will be slightly bit more impressive and will get the go-ahead. That's what I think. If it doesn't happen, I don't care, because I believe either striker should be able to perform. So that means I'm going to be benching Demarai Gray and Leon Bailey. They need to prove themselves in training, mostly for the coach, and in matches, mostly for the fans. And take the shirt away from Cephas and Dixon. They have the shirt. They performed well in the past 2 games. And not only the past 2 games in the Unity Cup, but also prior in qualifiers. Remember, Cephas came on against St. Vincent. Raheem Dixon came on. They both scored. No, Cephas started, I believe. Cephas scored his first goal for Jamaica and Raheem Dixon assisted. So they have been putting a string of games together, proving that they can perform for Jamaica and they deserve the shirt and the start. So heading into this new phase of our World Cup qualifier campaign, they have the shirt. They have been performing for club and country. right? They have the shirt. Their performances have not fell off. So they start. Leon Bailey and Demarai Gray work for their spot in training. And when they get a substitute appearance, they do something to prove why they are the senior men and they should be starting. That is how I see it, folks. Let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. If you disagree or you agree with anything. Again, World Cup Qualifier campaign is it's about to start. I'm very excited, as you guys can see. My energy is up. And again, I'll just leave you with, remember to believe in Steve.
No, it's tough job because I believe. How the Porsche boy cup can me believe in a Steve.
Jamaica have a lifeline. How about this?
They got Gunnaz podcast.